Hello, Mrs. Holbrooks. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate you doing this interview. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Candace.
Awesome. So we're just going to start with question 1, and then we'll work our way down. So
Okay.
First question is formative assessment and feedback are critical to student success. How does teacher feedback help a student effectively assess their own progress?
Well, I teach kindergartens, and so I'm basing this off of my 21 years of kindergarten. It might be a little bit different answer than you would have for older students. In kindergarten, it's kind of a process to help students to get to the point where they realize that teacher feedback can help them to figure out their own progress. Usually, they pretty much, especially the first half of the year, depend on the teacher for everything. So they're not really self-motivated to do that because this is all new. So it's usually done in in some type of a learning activity in order to improve the student's learning, helping them the student to through a process that they're struggling with makes them feel good about themselves. And then because they feel good about themselves, they want to try it again. Especially with the little guys, that's important because if they don't feel good, then, they don't want to do it again. It's probably that way for any students. Let's see.
Yeah.
The teacher, at this level, teacher feedback is more about what the students are not learning, so that I can modify my instructional approaches because they don't really know yet.
I gotcha.
So I use a lot of their feedback to modify how I teach and how I might want to modify my instructional approaches, my teaching materials, or so that it meets the academic needs of that student. So
Gotcha.
I think always teachers are doing that, but at the kindergarten level especially, it helps me to address the students who are struggling the most immediately so that I can teach them, right away and know where there's areas that they need to improve on instead of waiting until there's a formal test on it. And that, just keep working on it through the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of times during this, the teacher feedback too that I give them is stuff like high fives, stickers, praise for good work, helping a student with seat work or intervention during the work period, just to give them the confidence that they need. And it's generally a low or a no point activity.
Okay.
In fact, I'd say it is always a no point for me.
Okay.
I know for older students it might be different. And then this gives the students some kind of active involvement in their learning. They feel like they've got a part in it too, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I like the stickers part, and I like the high five and all of it. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, it's funny. I've substituted kindergarten a few times, and the teacher doesn't tell me that there's stickers involved, but the kids will always, first thing they tell me, Miss K, do I get a sticker for doing my activity or whatever? So the stickers are like magic.
Yeah, they are. Stickers, a smelly marker, if you draw on their paper with a smelly marker, a star, or a happy face, yeah. Or a hand stamp, that's magic too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, well, going to question number 2, what methods would you suggest for future teachers to teach self-advocacy and self-expression?
Well, again, I'm talking more from a kindergarten standpoint,
Right.
And younger kids. I teach them. I would suggest that future teachers teach them to use their words. If a student comes to me with a concern or somebody's done something to them, I say, well, did you use your words to tell them you don't like that?
Yeah.
Did you use your words to tell them what you do want? And if they say no, I say, well, tell me, what words would you use? And, we'll go back and forth until they're using an appropriate, sentence where they could self-advocate for themselves. And so then I'll ask them, I say, okay, now go and tell so-and-so just what you told me. Then you're using your words to take care of that, take care of the problem yourself. I also teach them to ask for help when needed. I always tell them, go use your words first, but if you're still having problems or if that doesn't work, come and get a teacher then. That way we can help them through it. And even then I would probably bring the two students together or if it's a group and say, well, we got a problem here. And then I would ask the student to explain it. And, okay, now use your words. Tell them what you like or tell them what you want. Tell them what you're trying to do, whatever it pertains to. And I would help them to work through that. It's actually, oral language is a standard in kindergarten. So teaching them to use their own words for a lot of things is important, but especially to stand up for themselves and to express themselves. And a lot of times if they don't know what I'm talking, I just give them examples. Well, you could say this, or you could say it this way. Yeah. Which one do you like better? And then they choose and they'll say it.
I love that. That's awesome. That reminds me, I remember when I was in elementary school, like kindergarten, first grade, one of the things they taught us for self-expression was like I messages. So like just something as easy as like, I feel sad when, or like I feel mad when. So that reminds me of what you were talking about, which is awesome. It's something I forgot about, but like it's really nice to be reminded and then hearing your experiences about it. So I love that. That's awesome. So question number 3, what are some classroom management techniques and self-procedures that you've implemented in your own classroom to create a successful learning environment for all?
Wow, it's changed over the years. I've always believed in having a positive classroom and I feel like it's essential to creating a successful learning environment. So I try to use all positive words. I find that routine is very important to managing the classroom because students know what to expect. And I try to keep the routine the same for everything that we do and everything that I teach. In other words, they always put their name on the top of the paper. Gotcha. And that's a pencil. I mean, that's something they would always do. Right. And I even use like a sing-song. First you write your name, next you do your pencil work, and then I'll sing the next thing that they would do. And I do that like after most every activity, and they will sing it with me. Like I do it, and then they sing it. Then I sing it, then they do it. So it's a chorus. Awesome. And I always do it the same way. But I find that the routines help them more than anything, especially the children that are having problems or children with special needs. They tend to do much better on a routine. And as far as classroom management, I use a behavior clip system, and it has, I think, 5 different colors. And basically, every child has a clip with their name on it, and inappropriate behavior results in the student moving their clip down. However, I try to make this a fluid system that can go up and down because I know some teachers who just use a card system, they pull a card, and the student that never have time to redeem themselves. And some students will just always end the day on, not a great color. Yeah. So I want the kids to feel like, okay, I messed up, but I can improve. There's hope for me. So I don't have to cry. I didn't ruin the whole day. My parents aren't going to know that I had a bad day. So if they did have to clip down, all they have to do is just improve their behavior, and I catch them doing something right, and then they get to clip back up. So it kind of moves up and down all day. The color green is right in the middle of our chart, and green means that they're ready to learn. So at the end of the day, if they are on green or higher, I give the students a jewel that we put on there. It's a little sticker jewel, and we put it on their clip that has their name on them. And when they fill up their jewel, they actually get to take it home, and they can wear it to school or do anything because it's got their name on it and a little sticker, and
Yeah.
they love it because it'll be filled with maybe 30, 40 jewels by then. Another thing that I do, because some students, they always follow the directions every single day, all the time, and they deserve rewards. But the other kids, I've learned through my years of teaching that if they don't feel like they have a chance to earn those rewards, they will just quit trying. So every day, at the end of the day, we have a little class meeting, and I have another chart that has each student's name and just a sticky note with each student's name on it. And I just, I'll just say, I'll go through it, and as a class, we'll talk, and I'll say, okay, Johnny, you were on green today. Great job. Here's a star. Okay, Paul. Oh, oops, you made a mistake today.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can fix it tomorrow, but you chose not to keep following directions, so you were below green today. So I bet you're going to have a better day tomorrow. And he doesn't get a a star. So I go through the whole class and just skip the ones who have stars, and the ones who don't, I'll say, well, tomorrow you can try again. When they get 5 stars, they get to go choose out of my prize box.
Oh.
And so and it's really easy. At first I thought, this is going to be very time consuming. I do the whole thing in 5 minutes. And when they get 5 stars, I just run a Sharpie through it, which means, yep. And then I start a new row. So that way, even the child who has really self-control issues and has problems, following directions, or he or she can still feel like they've done good. And man, once they get to that surprise box, they're super excited, and then they try harder. I think they don't. Yeah. I think my first year of teaching, I used a card system because that's what my coworkers used, and they suggested it. And the kids, it was 3 colors, and if they ended on those 3 colors, they didn't get anything. Or I talked to their parents, I just didn't feel right. So since I've switched to this one, I really enjoy that. I also tell students, I use the word choice a lot. I tell students that they can choose their behavior. We talk about it in the morning when we have our morning meeting, and I tell the kids that, I hope everybody's going to choose to follow the rules today. And I remind them if they're doing something if they're not doing something that I ask, I will give them a choice that I can live with. Too many times I've heard parents give a choice. If you don't do this, we're not going to go to Disneyland this weekend. And honest to goodness, I've had parents that say that to their kid, and their kid comes home not on a certain color, or not earning their stars, and the parent will then take them to Disneyland. So I think it's real important when I give them a choice that whatever I give them, I can take either one. So I will tell a student, you know what, you can choose to do your work now, or you can do it during Independence Center time. You decide, I don't care. And you decide, and I'll just walk away. And sometimes they'll sit there and not do their work. And if they don't do their work, then when it comes and they see the other kids during Independence Center time, and those are kind of like toys to them, but they're all educational centers, but the kids think they're toys. Right. And they will get sad, and I'll say, you know what? You can have center time too tomorrow, but today you chose not to do your work, so you chose not to do this, and then they will usually not be happy about it. And then I also will tell them, okay, but if you finish this and you do your best work, then if there's time left over, you can still go and do it, and that usually motivates them. A lot of times after 1 or 2 times, then they will never make that choice not to finish their work after I give them the choice of their work, after I give them the choice.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's something I do. And other things I do in the classroom include verbal praise, high fives. When it was not COVID time, hugs. And that high five, same thing with that. Hands, stars, stickers, things that I would just give randomly for appropriate behavior. I'll just try to catch somebody doing something right.
Gotcha.
And then I always have kind of rewarded kids for